Hello and welcome back. You know what to do. Grab yourself a cup of coffee, grab yourself a cup of tea, or grab yourself a cup of water, and let's get straight into the news. Oh my goodness. I do not even know where to begin. This was not the news that I was expecting to hear. If you have not heard, Prince Harry was caught up in a pranking scandal. Let's just go to this article by The Sun. The Sun was the first publication to break the news. So let's take a look at what The Sun had to say. The Duke of Sussex was duped into saying that he was completely separate from most of the royal family in calls recorded by the pranksters. Two notorious Russian jokesters fooled him into believing he was talking to 17-year-old climate activist Greta Thunberg and her dad, Vladimir Kutskanov and Alexei Stolyarov, aka Vovin and Lexus, twice spoke to Harry, 35, on the landline at his luxury bolt hole on Vancouver Island, Canada. So again, Prince Harry was not duped once. He was duped twice. The first conversation was on New Year's Eve, and the second conversation was on January 22nd. So keep in mind that these conversations happened while Harry was still a working member of the British royal family. In both of those phone calls, Prince Harry opened up about the tensions within the royal family, among many other things. I'm going to give you the highlights right now because I am going to break down the majority of the phone calls in separate videos. But let's just do an overall look at some of the very damaging things that Prince Harry said to these pranksters in the phone calls. So let's go into what he said about Megxit. He said, quote, "I can assure you, marrying a prince or princess is not all it's made out to be. But sometimes the right decision isn't always the easy one. And this decision certainly wasn't the easy one, but it was the right decision for our family, the right decision to be able to protect my son. And I think there's a hell of a lot of people around the world that can identify and respect us for putting our family first." Again, I made a video about this when I talked about Archie being missing. This is nothing but them using Archie as justification for them to leave. Archie is a bargaining chip for them. Now they can say, oh, my son is in danger, so we have to leave. Meanwhile, I haven't heard anything about Archie being in danger at all. So here's what he said about Donald Trump. The mere fact that Donald Trump is pushing the coal industry is so big in America. He has blood on his hands. But Trump will want to meet you to make him look better. But he won't want to have a discussion about climate change with you because you will outsmart him. Not good, Harry. Again, he is saying these things as a working member of the British royal family. As we know, the British royal family is notorious for not being political. He also went on to talk a little bit more about the safety of his family. And he was talking about this in the context of having to use commercial planes. He said, quote, "Unfortunately, there are very few alternatives. We have to fly on commercial planes all over the world. Nowhere near as much as most people who do it for a night or weekends. Certainly for my family, to protect my family from these people, as you can well understand. I have to put protections and safety of my family first, and these people are never ending." So what exactly is he talking about? Nobody would know if they are on a commercial flight because they always get on last and they sit in the front and they depart first. They are always surrounded by at least 6 armed security officers. They are extremely protected, probably one of the most protected families in the world. So I really don't understand what the issue is. And then he wants to compare himself to all of these people he feels fly for a weekend or an evening. Who are all of those people? The majority of people are not using flights like that. And it just shows that Harry is very out of touch. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the things he said about his family in a later video, but I want to touch on this point. He allegedly said, quote, I was in the military for 10 years, so I'm more normal than my family would like to believe. But certainly being in a different position now gives us the ability to say things and do things that we might not have been able to do. And seeing as everyone under the age of 35 or 36 seems to be carrying out an activist's role, gives us the opportunity to try and make more of a difference without being criticized. Okay, first off, Harry was in the military, but he was not a normal soldier. Harry had at least 12 soldiers who were tasked with only protecting him. So while he was in the military, he was in a different position than most people are in the military. And, at this point, Prince Harry has really ostracized himself from his family. He said that he's, pretty much separate from them, and so he will be. But he still wasn't completely separate when he was hanging out with his cousins or hanging out with his brother and his sister-in-law, his niece and his nephews, but now he wants us to believe that he is so different from them. Now, the question is this real? To me, it seems quite real and not staged at all. If Harry thought that this was a prank, he could have easily gotten himself off of the phone and asked one of his staff members to verify the validity of the phone number and the caller. But he did not. He hopped on 2 separate calls, about a month in between each other. In that month, he would have had a lot of time to figure out if the call was real or not. He would have had time to do a follow-up email, maybe to, say thank you for the phone call. None of that happened. So the fact that these phone calls happened twice leads me to believe that Harry is actually just really vulnerable. It was just extremely embarrassing. To me, Harry is not in a good place mentally. It was just so unwise for him to do this, and I really hope that somebody sits him down and says, look, you need to be a lot more careful. Let me know your thoughts below, and again, I will have more videos on this as the story unfolds.